Welcome to episode 3 of the show. We have a few wild topics. I'm going to get straight into them. I'm Dami Hilfiger, your host. I have enough footage to do an intro reel, so we're going to roll that and then we're going to get straight into it. I feel like the problem with mainstream hip hop is that at the end of the day, it is truly just capitalist hyperbole. And we really have to get into and grapple with the fact that that is what the machine is very naturally going to push. You can speak to the idea of it just being a conspiracy. I can take that angle if I want to. I can say, hey, there are dark forces that want you to buy into these systems of control. I can say, hey, it's more important for you to be distracted by the idea of one day owning a Maybach. Then I get you to buy into working this like 60-hour work week at X amount an hour. So you can buy your version of your Maybach. But at the end of the day, you're getting robbed. Does that make sense? Future was a literal pharmaceutical billboard. I'm not the first person to say that on any app, on any platform either. Like, and AI use is unethical, right? One thing, like if there was an eco-friendly AI, what I would put into it, how many mentions of a prescription drug are in Future's music? If somebody wants to do that work for me, I would love, thank you. But all things considered, I'm not about to. That being said, the man was a pharmaceutical billboard. And I'm just saying was to, you know what I mean? Maybe it's switched up. I don't know. I haven't listened to Future in a minute. Just keeping it real with y'all. And I'm never somebody that'll be like, yo, I hate hip hop. I'm not that type of Negro. Let me just keep that abundantly clear. That's not what we're doing here at all. But yeah, like top 40 hip hop is pretty much just capitalist propaganda, and it's why it dominated the charts for so long. And I feel like they figured out a way to reverse engineer country into that so effectively that it's more effective to white people than black people, which is why it's taken over the charts to the extent that we see. That's another interesting thing because I live further west. I live in Arizona. So the idea that like country, it might not be popular where you're at, it's taken over in places. The Nashville propaganda was hot as goddamn fish grease for a minute, especially over the pandemic. Even like the drug music, the drug dealer music, the gangster music, all of that shit is capitalist propaganda. I can take the angle that, oh, there are dark forces. Oh, there was a meeting on an island at this record label. And they were like, yeah, we're going to push this shit to make sure the economy keeps going. Or whatever the story is. I can tell you that. Or I can also tell you that as a side effect of the conditions that come from this society, I can tell you that as a side effect of the conditions that come from the society that we live in, people very naturally make music that would benefit the overall circumstance. And that is the music that gets pushed if it resonates enough with the people. Does that make sense? And so I feel like that's why we often see a lot of like our quote unquote faves doing really stupid shit. Both Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill, which is really funny too, because if you look at how Nicki Minaj fed into all of the propaganda, literally went to the UN for the Trump administration to get them to bomb Nigeria, and then they did it. And then they did it, by the way. Is that not the funniest thing? Yo, they had Nicki Minaj go to the UN and tell them that they were going to do it, and then they fucking did it. Is that not the craziest thing? And so the funnier part, and then you got Meek Mill up here being the crypto shill. If this blows, if my podcast ever blows, oh, I'm going to be in trouble. But like, listen, we got Meek Mill up here being the fucking crypto shill. He was up here, yo, I need to get in touch with Palantir. Imagine, I need to get in touch with the AI behind what happened in Palestine. I got some shit to take care of. What the fuck are you talking about on Twitter, Meek Mill? What are you saying on Twitter, Meek Mill? Hip hop is 200% capitalist propaganda. And it's like, again, it is capitalist hyperbole. I'm glad there's still real shit. There's still real artists. You can listen to Good Luck Rico. You can listen to Kenny Morningstar. You can listen to niggas like Mike or Earl Sweatshirt. You don't have to listen to niggas like Meek Mill or goddamn Nicki Minaj. People are going to give, People don't like Dr. Umar, and there are valid arguments against Dr. Umar. So I try not to be like a Dr. Umar type figure on the internet. But god damn it, I'm about to be more like a Dr. Umar type figure on the goddamn internet, because it's not okay how much bullshit they are just letting slide, and that we buy, by the way. Because I was a Meek Mill fan for a minute. And it's interesting too, right? Because I grew up in Milwaukee. I was born in Milwaukee. I'm a Milwaukee nigga, no matter how much it might not sound like it. But my mom moved us out to Philly in like 2004, 2005. And we was out there till like 2012. But that was that was early Philly hip hop, right? That was like Gilly the Kid days. That was somebody got knocked the fuck out. And the shit went viral before viral was viral. Hold on, we're gonna pull up the browser and do some research, you guys. Joey Jihad. Listen, I was in Philly when Joey Jihad got knocked out. Come on now.
Known for his hard-ass bars and punchlines. I'm on your top like a cheap toupee. The A to make your face break up like B2K. I'm like one guy, two guy, old guy, new guy. Calm down, woosah, woosah.
Hold on. And so before I really let this shit play and get into my commentary on Joey Jihad getting knocked the fuck out in Philly, right? Shout out to Joey Jihad too. I don't want no smoke with no. I was just there for it. I was there for it, bro. And like, keep it real, nobody is immune from getting knocked the fuck out, me included. All right. I keep one on me. Don't play. But on the other hand, nobody's immune. I'm not Superman. God damn it. Anyway. And it's funny because this is a formative memory in my life. But anyway, yeah. This is important to get into, right? This is important to get into because you see what like real community building and real just reflection of what your lifestyle and how you came up looks like. And then you get somebody like Meek Mill, who you will see something similar from too. I can pull up some early Meek Mill. I probably will. That we was listening to in middle school and shit. 2007, 2008, 2009. Niggas gonna be like, you wasn't really outside in middle school. I don't give a fuck either. But what I'm gonna say is, before I show y'all Joey Jihad getting knocked out, there's a realness that you see, and it gets killed when you really make it to a certain level, because top 40 hip hop is all motherfucking propaganda. Now let's get to this clip.
Yeah, I'm eating and you can't get a pinch of mine. You try flaws, get crossed like finish line. I'm expected to.
They really did Joey Jihad getting knocked out as a documentary style. Like they showed y'all some shit first. Like, hey y'all, hold on.
Blow, they calling me the Pentagon.
Back then in Philly, all the rappers were broken into groups such as Touch Money, Top Class, and
Yo, there's a documentary about Joey Jihad getting knocked out. This was a core memory.
State Property. And a lot of the rappers had real beef with each other, and they would diss each other in these DVDs.
All right, but what I don't support is white people retelling my stories. Fuck that. I was there for it. I feel like I'm gonna have a problem with Joey Jihad if I'm ever back in Philly.
What we doing? Tell me what we doing. Wait a minute, for Rob? I ain't fucking with Rob. No. It's like, no. It's my joint, you know? I don't got no people right now. You don't? I got it. Get a beat. Put a beat on. They come right there. I don't play no CDs. I don't play no CDs. It's obvious I'm hot. It's obvious
you cold.
My raps play I am, and it's obvious you gold. My aim is the game, and I got it in control when I flame.
Damn, oh my god.
Shit.
Yo, they really slept my nigga. Hey, that shit is actually dead tragic when you get into it. I'm not gonna lie. That shit is actually, as a grown man, the shit that I used to laugh at goddamn 10 and 12 years old. Why are you like that today? Dami, why did you find the Charlie Kirk shit so funny? This is the type of shit that I was laughing at goddamn 12, 13, 14 years old. It only got worse from there, you guys. I'm sorry. Can I pull that clip up? I was thinking it with the rat pack. Hit him with the chopper, that's the rat trap. That shit did like 2 million views in like not a lot of time. That's the one video I have not deleted that they've sat there and fried off my page. Not that I have like hope that it'll be back, but flip side, some bullshit happens to the extent that all of this shit collapses. There's a chance. Let's get into Nick Cannon and Amber Rose coon asses. And yes, Amber Rose is a nigga. She is from Philly. I believe she's biracial. Let me double check that. Yes. Thanks.
Part of the Republican Party.
That's right. Former
That's
Democrat,
right.
former liberal. I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you got a whole nother, you up there with the elite now? Or?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
and they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans.
First of all, I feel like her and Kanye didn't end on necessarily a good note. If I remember all of that right, I think 808s and Heartbreak was about Amber Rose. The fact she ain't saying nothing there says a lot about her character. The rest of the shit I'm hearing is honestly not a surprise because it feels like she has like it's a lot of unresolved bullshit there. Just if you ask me.
Do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
People don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yeah.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like historically accurate as it may be, you're ignoring the rest of the history that followed. All of that was true literally up until the point that they shot Martin Luther King. There was a big transition after that point. But I don't necessarily expect the strongest takes on politics from Kanye's ex-girlfriend or the nigga we know from Drumline. Like let's just keep it a buck. Drumline and Wild and Out. What are we talking about? How is Zeus Network an alt-right pipeline? Listen to me and listen to me good. They benefit from black people voting Republican. Here we are getting Republican propaganda on Likely Zeus Network. Let me double check this. Was Nick Cannon, Amber Rose, Zeus Network? If I just Google those three phrases. Let's see here. I think, okay, they Hot 97. Let's get to the bottom of it with Hot 97. Big virus popped up. Big bullshit pop-up popped up. Anyway, Amber Rose's latest appearance on Nick Cannon's Big Drive. Okay, so what is Nick Cannon's Big Drive? What network is that on? It's on fucking Tubi. Okay, all right. Well, Nick Cannon has shows on Zeus Network. This was Republican propaganda. Zeus Network is Zionist propaganda. Nick Cannon has shows on Zeus Network. Here we are with more Republican propaganda from Nick Cannon. But Dami, Republican propaganda isn't Zionist propaganda. No, it's not. But guess what party really supports the F out of Israel regardless? The Democrats are flipping on that. Guess who's not? They really just have Thomas Massey on the island. And that racist fucking James Fishback. That's all they got though. On the anti-Israel train. I don't even know if he really is on the anti. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on James Fishback. I don't know enough about the Republicans. Keep it a buck. I don't fuck with them. I don't follow them like that. But yeah, like I'm not surprised we're getting more Republican propaganda from Nick Cannon, who has shows on Zeus Network and is like, come on guys. He's all but an agent at this point. He put that turban on, that pseudo Middle Eastern shit. That's a red flag also. Keep it in mind every time you see some pseudo Middle Eastern shit. Benjamin Netanyahu, that's not his name. He just wanted to sound more Middle Eastern. Why is he following the same playbook? Chili from TLC is under some fire right now off the strength of her donation history. This one's going to piss my mom off. But I got it up here now. So they're showing literally donation after donation to either like MAGA related or Donald Trump related causes. And it's just interesting to me because imagine being in TLC, not only realizing she's been compromised, but your tour has also been compromised because it's cooked. It's the perfect example of why people don't support businesses that support Donald Trump, that support this new fascist regime. And I just got done talking about how Nick Cannon completely lost the plot, and so has Amber Rose. First and foremost, I'm never taking political advice from a nigga with 12 baby moms. I don't care how much money you have. That's the first thing. The second thing, now, we got Rosanda Thomas, who, if you look her up, that's her. And she's up here talking about, I want to be clear, I am not MAGA and do not support any of the many policies that are causing great harm to the American people. I made a mistake too many make. I did not read the fine print. You didn't read the fine print when you donated to Trump National Committee 3 times. You didn't read the fine print when you donated to Never Surrender Incorporated. Shout out the January 6ers, by the way. I think they're suing the Capitol Police right now for police brutality after they tried to do an actual insurrection. That's the problem with them not persecuting them hard enough, just if you ask me. And then WinRed a bunch of times. I thought I was donated to veterans when I donated to the Trump National Committee to Never Surrender Incorporated. And it's funny because TLC is known for for getting bad deals, right? In the early days, the record labels robbed them, did not get any money out of their tour. Unfortunately, donating to Donald Trump and WinRed and this January 6th Never Surrender Incorporated was a TLC deal out of this goddamn world, because you will not be getting paid on that tour. You know, the Republicans might pop out. Some of them remember y'all from the 90s. But again, it's the perfect example of why people don't want to support businesses that support Donald Trump, because why would I put money in your pocket? Like, this is why politics matters when you spend your money. Why would I put money in your pocket and you're going to go ahead and put that money into Donald Trump's pocket directly? And you have a track record of this. You can say you're not MAGA all you want to. You can say you don't support this shit all you want to. In a capitalist society, how you spend your money is literally the most direct expression of free speech. And they codified that in the law so that you could donate obscene amounts of money to these fascist leaderships, to these fascist regimes. But yeah, no, Chili, there's no coming back from this. I'm sorry. You in a capitalist society, we put our money where our mouths are. So I've not been back to a Starbucks. That's why I've not been back to a Target. And I know it sounds petty, but it really is not, because if you are going to put your money behind supporting these policies, you don't need to get $1 from me. That's just what it comes down to. People often have conversations about how can we divest? Oh, you can't escape from a capitalist. Yes, you can. They had to send a freaking pastor out to try to rehabilitate Target. Another issue. They'll sit there and try to use religion to get this propaganda through. They'll sit there and take advantage of the house of worship that you may practice or sit in to convince you to support these pro-capitalist, these missions that don't support you. These things that only perpetuate the racism that we all deal with because people make money off of it in a capitalist society. Like, overall, it's interesting to me how there's kind of a thread here of culture being manipulated to support the overall mission or agenda. I think I started this episode talking about top 40 hip hop. We moved into entertainment and just got back to religion. All of these aspects of culture that are very political. People like to be like, oh, I'm not political, I don't mess with politics, but you very much mess with religion, or you very much mess with music, or you very much mess with entertainment, which are all heavily propagandized in America in 2026. If we think that the technology is advanced, the ideas, right? Think about like an idea like technology for a second. The propaganda is very advanced. It's very entrenched. It's very layered. They do, in fact, use pieces of culture. Again, the house of worship, the entertainment outlets, the entertainment sources, the music we listen to be able to send these messages. I'm really in my bag this episode. I'm not going to lie. This was a through line on that one. I'm going to take a second to hit some of these eye drops. If any eye drop company wants to sponsor me, like one I can buy at CVS, though, holla at your boy. Man, we've been having some fun so far, and I'm not even really into it yet. Let me see what else we got on the docket. So the No Kings protests happened this weekend, or this past weekend, I should say. Every time one of these happens, you get two sides of the conversation. You get people that are like, yeah, this was a great thing. I got to meet organizations in the community and learn about these organizations and how I can register with them and things like that. And I think that's a positive thing. Like, truly, I do. And then you get the criticisms, which I think some are fair. Like, I think the idea that the parade without demands criticism is the loudest one that you'll hear, no matter how many different times it's spun. Super fair, just to be honest. I think, again, like community building, though, flip side, like I think it's a great thing for that. What I want to see though, because apparently the turnout is getting larger and larger, and so what they need to do is make sure that that momentum is carried into November. And this is where I start to talk about like how I feel about things, because I believe the system needs to be remade, absolutely. In the world where people aren't necessarily picking up, arms. Hey guys, that's not necessary. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some stuff. We do have to do what we can with the system that we do have. So in the world that we have all of this momentum, I just hope that they carry it into November. If they carry it into November, I would have nothing bad to say about them. Just me personally, because this is truly one of the more important midterms. Like, for all the people that are saying the elections don't matter, can't vote our way out of this, this is the election to test it. This is the one. Do I believe the system needs to be remade? Yes. Do I believe that all of this unchecked capitalism is not the answer? Yes. Before we get into this, no, I'm not a libertarian. I lean more democratic socialist, but I understand the ultimate goal of socialism is, well, not the ultimate goal, but the ultimate outcome. Like, if socialism is unchecked, the ultimate outcome of it is going to be communism, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that like I'm against that. Most times we see the failures of it come from intervention from capitalist nations, capitalist forces, colonial influences. But ultimately, like, in a place like America, where there's supposed to be a two-party system, or at least like an opposing, clashing system, that's the one that we're working with, we'll say. The idea that the Democrats are starting to lean more socialist is cool. The idea that people are more open to these different ideas is cool. I think in a perfect America, it would be like there was a socialist party and a democratic party, or there's a socialist party and a capitalist party, and that capitalist party is the one pushing all of this unchecked republicanism. Because right now what we have is like the Republicans, they're doing it unchecked. They don't care. The Democrats, they kind of they engage in some identity politics from time to time, but they still do that, capitulating to the right, to that unchecked capitalist force from time to time. They're more pro-regulatory, which I like. Like, I don't necessarily, like, I would prefer Democrats in power of the two capitalist parties, because at least at that, like, they, you know what I mean? They're going to regulate it a bit. They're going to do a bit more than the Republicans do, but it's like a slow walk versus a sprint to the same thing most times. So yeah, in a perfect America, though, we wouldn't necessarily have these two capitalist forces. We would have just a non-capitalist force versus that. Like a place like the UK, for example, they're doing not necessarily 1,000 times better than us, but the idea that they can have universal healthcare, they have multiple parties. They have multiple interests represented in their political force. Even Israel has multiple interests represented in their political force, believe it or not. Like, we're really one of the only countries with this like two-party kind of, one of the only major superpowers, we'll say, with just two parties that have a say in things that have been so thoroughly compromised, right? Because if you think about the idea of there just being two options, it can, in fact, be that thoroughly compromised. And yes, we have third parties. But again, with the way people like to lean on the idea of electorability, you have to almost compromise the Democratic Party. Two more socialist ideas, two more communist ideas, just two more actual left-leaning ideas. If you actually want to see that in practice before people start flipping shit, before people start flipping tables. But people aren't necessarily ready to start flipping tables, In the world where they are, maybe we see like a more drastic change. But in the world where people are not, I believe that would be like the more likely outcome, we'll say. And if they're smart, they give way to that outcome, just because in the grand scheme, if it's just democratic socialism, they at least get to rock out to the extent that it's not a complete takeover. It wouldn't be a complete takeover. That's why some people be like, hey, that's why some people be like democratic socialism is not really that far left. That's why some people say that. There are people that be like, yo, Zoran Mamdani is not that far left. To the liberal, yeah, he's super far left. Most liberals don't realize the party that they represent is capitulating very far to the right. Not as far to the right as the actual Nazis in power, but how did we get here? Why do we have this? Why do we have this Democratic leadership and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries that people call weak? Why do they call them weak? Mind you, they have the opportunity to do something real here. They have the opportunity to make something happen. They have the opportunity to actually represent the interests of their voter base and gain some ground. They're not deciding to do so. That's kind of a problem. You know, there's a saying, you have to stand for something or fall for everything. And I can, not that I can appreciate it, but I can see why some people like Nick Cannon or Amber Rose even decide to stand on the brazen and bold capitalist in a full-blown capitalist society. Like, why would I be with the party that half steps it in the world where I have everything to benefit and gain from participating 130%? And so why would I not align with the party that is in fact moving 130% in that interest? That's where the Democrats fail. Unfortunately, they're not truly left leaning. Like when people like Nick Cannon say things like, "Oh, the Democrats, the party of the KKK," they can still say stuff like that because the liberals are still very racist in America. They will put a Black Lives Matter sign in that lawn so fast and still call the police on your black ass walking just up and down. Like, it'll still happen. So that, and it's not being addressed on either side, which is where it still persists. So again, people like Nick Cannon get to go on Tubi and say stupid shit like, "Oh, the Democrats are the party, the KKK, the Republicans, I don't think they're racist. I don't think Donald Trump is racist. I think he's Trumpist." He gets to say shit like that because the Democrats have not necessarily done a good enough job on the ground game to prove otherwise, unfortunately. 2026 is truly the wildest timeline. I don't know how I ended up on Chinese military industrial complex TikTok, but it's actually insane.
Hello, my name is Chinese Lu Bingcheng. Goodbye. 007. Yes. Very good. Fucking boss.
And you know, anything could be AI nowadays, so I had to look through the page and figure out like, yo, is this legit? I'm in Dubai. How can I help you to make a friend? Yo, he's really getting this shit off. Buddy selling a tank. Yo, tanks with the Sakura filter is crazy, is it not? Am I tripping? Mind you, you can't make a joke about certain shit on this app, but they can sell straight up like tanks and jets on this. He's selling tanks and jets. Ref, do something. Bro, these look like they made out of Legos. Am I tripping? Bro, line the tanks. The Chinese is ready for this war, by the way. They're not playing. Alright. I've seen enough. Diabolical combinations are making a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe that they're a side effect of all this unchecked capitalism. I saw a tweet earlier that said 23 years ago today, Mos Def ordered chocolate milk and fish. And it's crazy to think, because I think that's the "You Don't Know My Name" music video. It's an Alicia Keys music video. It's really crazy to think that that was that long ago. Like, I'm getting old. That's the first thing. The second thing, these diabolical combinations, I feel like somehow they're a side effect of all this unchecked capitalism. Earlier, I saw somebody talking about protein hookah. I saw somebody make Hennessy caviar a couple weeks before that. Like, I feel like we're at a point where we are running out of the conventional, traditional ways to get these things, or they're trying to normalize the ways that we will have access to them in the future. Because how are they getting protein in the hookah? I hope that video was AI too, because they were talking about you can get 25 grams of, they were talking about you can get 25 grams of protein out of a hookah. I'm like, you gotta be lying to me. This has to be AI. I don't believe it. I don't believe that they have protein, because I've seen somebody talk about this, but you never know. In Saudi Arabia, they invented protein hookah. The manufacturer claims that 45 minutes of smoking gives a person 25 grams of protein. You can't tell me that we are out of convention, like that conventional protein sources are just at such an abundance that somebody just had this idea off the strength of just like whatever. Come on. Protein hookah. The other day I saw a Hennessy caviar, and I'm not mad at Hennessy caviar. I actually think Hennessy caviar is pretty innovative. Oh, and clearly, like, people have done this with other things before. I think it's just one of those gelatin solutions that they got that you can just cook with. But I feel like even like the use of Jello came out of like that Depression era cooking where people didn't have like freezers and fridges and all these other things to be able to keep food in the way that they do today. That's going back to that, like thought process of innovation around how can we stretch food, how can we get this food sourced from another place. It's a side effect of how far things have gone. Because the scarcity is produced. We don't have to sit here and be in these circumstances where people are fighting over water and people are fighting over food and housing and money just in general. But people make money off those circumstances. Protein hookah though, that's just nuts in my opinion. I feel like I have to see more about that story. It feels a little scammy, just in my opinion, but it could be real. That's brand new science. Somebody had an original thought with that one. Thanks for stopping by for the third installment of Greetings from DAHMMYLAND. I am again your host, Dami Hilfiger. I do episodes every 4 to 5 days, 3 to 4 days. Goal is at least once a week here. We're over that right now, so we're going to try to keep this pace going. It's always stuff to talk about. You can follow me on TikTok or subscribe to me here. And as always, like, share, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what you saw today.